scientists predicted the need for this back in the 80s or back in 1990, and we're just ignoring them. And they're right. They were right then, and they're right now.
Absolutely, absolutely. You have talked about the other galaxy and its effect on us. Tell me about that.
Isn't this fascinating? This is going to get into, to my mind, some of the greatest mysteries that we are now facing, involving 2012 and the Maya. And, always kind of hanging in the back of my mind is the question of why did they calculate like this? Why did they choose this date if they didn't know something about it? And I just can't quite get to a satisfactory explanation that doesn't include some kind of extraordinary knowledge from the deep past. Now, there is has been a study done of it's an infrared study of our immediate galactic neighborhood, and it has been found that there is another galaxy that is actually in the process of colliding with the Milky Way.
No, that's Andromeda, isn't it?
No. Oh, no. Andromeda is not even close to colliding with the Milky Way. Andromeda is far from here.
Okay.
But the reason that this has been so interesting to scientists is that we're excuse me. I am having a little bit of a problem talking. I'm having a little cough here.
All right, just go ahead, cough.
You're going to have to give me just a moment.
You go ahead, do what you got to do, and cough it out. And
that doesn't really happen to me very often.
But
anyway, this other structure is called the Sagittarius Dwarf Galaxy. You've probably never heard of it before. Now, in the Astrophysical Journal, a paper in the Astrophysical Journal, based on a project that is surveying the sky in infrared light, suggests that we may be actually part of the Sagittarius dwarf galaxy in the process of entering the Milky Way, that we're not part of the Milky Way yet. And this is why one of the most interesting astrophysical questions out there is if you look up at the night sky, not in any of these big cities, but where you can still see the night sky, the Milky Way is at an angle. Now, this is rather mysterious because it shouldn't be. We should be in the lens of the Milky Way, and we should be parallel. Gravity should have made our solar system parallel to the center of the galaxy, like all of the other stars are. But we're not. We're at an angle. Could that be because we are actually entering the Milky Way? And if that's the case, we may be moving into an area of denser and more energetic plasma as we penetrate the lens of the Milky Way. You look at what's going on in this solar system. You see changes in light intensity on Neptune. You see polar shifts. Neptune and Uranus have shifted poles and increased magnetic field intensity. The magnetic field of Jupiter is in a state of strange flux and chaos. Ozone clouds have appeared on Mars, and the Martian atmosphere has turned out to be so much more dense that it is damaged at one orbiter because we didn't expect the atmosphere to be that dense. So you see these changes taking place, and I might add that there are suggestions of global warming on Mars, just like there are on Earth. So all of these things are changing, are happening in this solar system, and I think it's quite possible that we really are part of the Sagittarius dwarf galaxy, and we really are entering the Milky Way now. And if that's the case, then astronomers who understood this could have calculated very exactly in the past, assuming 10,000 years ago or 20,000 years ago, someone could make calculations like that.
Yes.
They could have come up with a calendar like the one we see. And I don't get it, because who would they have been? Where were they?
I still think they might have had some ET help with somehow.
I just don't know. Well, you look at the what's left, the engineering feats. Sacsayhuaman in Peru, 30,000 perfectly matched stones go into that structure. They were carried a mile up the side of a mountain when the Spaniards wanted the Incas to show them how they had built their buildings. They couldn't do it. The Incas sent crews down into the valleys to bring rocks up, and these people all ended up getting killed trying to do it, and the Spaniards called the experiment off. Even the Incas had no idea how that had been done. That's only one. You go to Baalbek, to the platform, great platform at Baalbek, and the central stone in that platform is so enormous that right now we could lift that. We could engineer something to lift that stone, but it would take us years to build machinery that would be capable of moving it. We know the quarry where it came from. It's not a secret. How did they move it if they did not know something major about the physics of weight that we do not now know? It's inescapable. Somebody in the past knew a great deal more about the world than we have given them credit for. I don't even bother to get into the Great Pyramid, because everybody knows that. We could not build today something that is that precisely oriented toward true north and that is also that large. We couldn't.
No, there's no way.
No.
There's no way. Do you think we will see signs of whatever the Mayans were talking about as we get close to this 2012 date in December, or is it going to hit us that day?
I think that the 2012 date is probably. I don't think that it is a precise date. I think we are in a period of change, and there's substantial scientific evidence backing that fact up. It's not conjecture, and it's not supposition based on ancient texts or anything like that. It's hard science. It's a fact. Now, if it was hard science and a fact years and years ago, perhaps even before the Maya, maybe the Maya, this calendar was handed down to the Maya from the very distant past. After all, a few years ago, there was a French oceanographer who was studying the seafloor off the coast of Cuba with down-looking sonar, and she said that she had found evidence of a city at a depth of about 5,000 feet. Now, this was supposed to have been, the return voyage was supposed to have been funded by the National Geographic. Never heard any more about it. It seems to have just disappeared. But if in the distant past, in 12,000 years ago, this dramatic event did in fact take place, and the science is very strong that it did, that there was an enormous impact that took place then, an absolutely heart-stopping event that was so large that it caused the whole glacier to collapse in a matter of weeks. It was an unbelievably large event. It could have done things like caused the dramatic subsidence of areas that had been on the surface. We do know that sea levels rose 30 feet and more all over the planet when these glaciers melted. And this all happened very, very dramatically. If we had a civilization then that had a certain amount of advancement but was quite small and clustered along the shorelines of that era, it could have disappeared
We're going to get Bob Gleason's take with Whitley when we come right back on Coast to Coast AM.